Hey everybody, today I wanted to show you a quick video on how to make a simple padded safety arrow for kids shooting in the yard, or just a good foam covered safety arrow. These can also be used in things like LARP or combat archery, but you have to make sure that it's approved in your game, because not all games will approve of an arrow and a point like this. So what you want to start is you want to start out with a prepared arrow shaft. This one is a birch arrow shaft. I've already got the knock on here, and I'll put another video up soon showing how to prepare arrow shafts like this. So this one's 29 inches long. You basically want to take your draw length plus an inch for the blunt that we're going to put on the end here. So you want to start off with your arrow shaft. And then you're going to need some things. You're going to need a 1-inch hardwood dowel, preferably birch, maple, or oak, something strong that'll be able to take the forces of being used in this arrowhead. You're going to need some thicker foam rubber. So this is in the form of a rubber slipper that you can pick up anywhere here in Hawaii. I think they're called flip-flops everywhere, and I think they're still fairly easy to come by. And you're going to need some 1/2 inch foam pipe insulation. You're going to need some 3/8 inch heat shrink tubing, some fiberglass strapping tape. You're going to also need some kind of tape to cover the entire shaft. I'm using clear plastic tape just because I want to kind of show off the grain of the wood underneath this tape. This is just to add an extra layer of safety. You're going to need electrical tape or duct tape. You're going to need some kind of adhesive for attaching the blunt to the shaft. I'm going to be using hot glue, and then I'm also going to be using half of a practice golf ball, just these simple foam golf balls. You can get them fairly inexpensively at places like Walmart. So that's all you need to start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our 1-inch dowel and we're going to cut it down to a 1.5 inch long piece. So from here we're going to drill a hole in that. So we're going to go do that now. Alright, so now we're going to take this dowel and we're going to drill a hole in it. So I'm using a lathe because I just like doing it because it's really fast, really repeatable. I could do a lot of these at once, just throw the dowel in, clamp it up, turn it on, drive the drill into it, and then it's done. You could do this with a drill press. You could do this by hand with a hand drill. There's a couple ways to do it. This is the way I do it, and so if you don't have a lathe, you can always use a drill press. You can always use a hand drill. So I'm going to do this right now. I'm going to push the dowel in all the way. Make it nice and tight. And you want to bring the drill bit up till it's almost touching. Clamp that in. You want to turn on your lathe. And then you want to just bring your tailpiece in. And so if you notice, I'm going to back off and go back in a couple times. But if you notice, I've got a piece of tape right here that tells me where to stop drilling. So you just go down to your tape. Alright. Once you've gone down there, And there we go. And there we go. We've drilled a hole perfectly center into our wooden dowel. So now we're going to glue this to the shaft, and then afterwards we're going to grind it. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our drilled out dowel, and we're going to attach it to our arrow shaft like this. So you want to use an adhesive for this. I'm going to be using hot glue. I'm going to be using my heat gun here to heat up the hot glue. So I'm going to turn on the heat gun and I'm going to show you what to do. So what you want to do is you just want to heat up your hot glue until it's hot enough to actually, you can see, actually spread onto the arrow shaft. And so you want to actually spread it onto the arrow shaft for about an inch. Alright, so if you can see that. And then what you want to do is you want to take it back to the heat gun. You want to heat it until it gets molten. And as a side note, you want to get a good amount of hot glue on the very tip of the arrow, just to help absorb some shock. Alright, so what you want to do is you want to heat the glue up that's on the arrow shaft. And it's going to bubble up a little bit. So once it's molten, what you want to do is you just want to press the arrow shaft in all the way. Alright, there you go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grind a taper starting from about 1/4 of an inch down to the arrow shaft. So I'm going to do this with the grinder. I'm going to show you what that looks like when you're done. Alright, so this is what the point should look like now. You just want to really rough this sort of taper in. And then you want to leave just a little bit of thickness on the front here. So now what you want to do is you want to cut a 2-inch piece out of your pipe insulation. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut 4 triangular wedges out. So if you can see here. So you see I cut 1 wedge out there. I'll go to the other side. Cut my second wedge. Alright. So as you can see, I cut 4 wedges out. So when you fit this over the point here, you can see it'll lay down and you'll have a nice tapered head. So to make that stay, what we're going to do is we're going to take contact cement. We're just going to apply contact cement to this whole point here. So now what you want to do is, while it's still wet, you want to bring the foam up and you want to set it in place. Make sure it's flush at the top. Then you want to pinch the bottom together. So you can see the contact cement kind of holds it together. Now what you want to do is you want to take a little bit of contact cement and put it up in between the little wedge cutouts that you made. It's just to hold it together a little more securely. So there you go. Alright, so now what we're going to do is now what you're going to need to do is you're going to want to take your foam golf ball and you want to go ahead and just cut it in half. So now you take this half a golf ball and you want to actually place it on your rubber, the foam rubber you're going to use. Trace that out and cut a circle. So I've already done that, so see, I've got a circle, I've got this. And then these two together will be the majority of the foam part of the head. So basically, that is going to go onto this here. So this is essentially what the finished arrowhead is going to look like. So what we want to do right now is you want to go and sand if there are any ridges or anything, or if the surfaces are smooth, you want to rough them up a little bit with some sandpaper. And then we're going to glue those together. So I'll go do that and I'll be right back.